Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce with the JP8 Report, episode 263. All right, how's everyone going? Give me a second here because I got to check something out here. There's something that went wrong on everything, and I'm just making sure I'm on the right one now. Okay, I think everyone can see me now. All right. Thank y'all for tuning in to the JP8 report. Hold on over here. All right. If you can hear me, say something. I'll raise my hand, see if I'm seen. All right, cool. All right, let's go from there. All right, so I'm gonna hold my hand up just for a minute, just so if I can see myself come on the screen. And but welcome to the JPA report. And there you go. I'm live. All right. I don't know what happened, but I had to take it down and put it back up. But I'm good to go now. Thanks a lot for everyone for showing up today. Sorry about the little bit of the delay and stuff, but I think I got it fixed. We shall see. But welcome to the JP8 report. Like I put in the live chat, if you're watching, you're not a member of the JP8 report, please click that follow button and give us a thumbs up. And then for the like, all right, please, and then share the podcast out. If you're able to, go to YouTube and go to the JP8 Report 67. That's the JP8 Report on YouTube, and just subscribe to it so we can get our numbers up on that, so we can start live streaming through it also. But remember, everything comes around. The hub is here, Rumble, right? And I would appreciate it. We have 99 followers. I would like to see that thing hit 100. All we need is one more. All right. So, welcome to the JPA report. Let's do this. Okay. So, America 250. America 250. The day is day 2 of the Battle of 96. That was in South Carolina. I talked about it yesterday. Is the first large-scale engagement between Loyalist and Patriot forces in the southern part of the 13 colonies. We ended up winning the battle, but this is day 2 of it. And then the other battle is the Battle of Sorel, which is in Quebec. It was Patriot forces captured 3 British ships and 8 smaller ships with the crews and all the vital cargo that we need for pursuing our War of Independence. So we had one in the far south. We had one in Canada. Both of them we won, which is really good. But that was for November 19th, 1775. That's all for the day on that one. All right. Can't have full-scale war going on all the time. Remember, the thing lasted until 1781, and the peace treaty went in 1783. All right. So, JP8 report. No, wait a minute. No, not yet. I got to go right here. Dalmatian, Texas burgers. These guys are good friends of mine. My wife and I were just discussing getting food from there. But they're homemade smash burgers and hot dogs right here in Central Texas. Everything's homemade, including their buns. They're open Tuesday through Saturday from 11 to 2 and from 5:30 to 7 unless they sell out. And like I said, they're in the western side of Copper's Cove behind Bush's Chicken. All right. If you can tell by looking at the menu here that all the burgers are the same price. If you get a single, double, or triple burger, the America, the Armadillo, the Chili Burger, the OK Corral, the one up in Area 51. They're all the same price, $6.59 or $11.50. All right. So, and I'm partial to the armadillo because I like jalapenos. So, with that is next is so we've got all that. So yesterday was pretty eventful in Congress. Sometimes you don't see stuff move as fast as they usually did, but they exercised a privilege resolution. What do you call it? A privilege revolution or some type of petition. I forgot what it was now. But it was for releasing the Epstein files. It passed in the House 427 to 1. And the one was, his name is Jay Higgins, I believe. But he was a former law enforcement officer. And the reason why he voted no was that he wanted the victims' names all redacted before the vote. And they just couldn't get it done because the Democrats were pushing this vote, right? And then I went over to the Senate, and the House Speaker was almost begging Senator Thune to pass it with an amendment on it to redact the names of the victims, right? And Chucky Schumer went ahead and did unanimous consent, and it passed. So in the House it was 427 to 1. In essence, in the Senate it was 100 to 0 because they just did it on voice vote. It was like all in favor, say aye, and a bunch of ayes, and that was it, right? There was no make a motion, second, open for debate, close debate, and then vote, and then it goes back to the House, and so they just voted for it, the same as how it came from the House. Now it went to the president. I don't know if he signed the bill yet. He has up to 14 days to sign a bill as it is, right? But it passed unredacted. So everything has got to come out now, all right? And I was listening this morning that the Attorney General has the right to withhold certain documents if they were under investigation for prosecution at this moment. I hope she doesn't do that because here we go again type deal. If she did that, I'd be telling the president, look, time for her to go. Let's find another attorney general, regardless of the political consequences, because she's just stemming your forward momentum to do stuff in our country. So let's hope it doesn't come to that, and that she does the wishes of the House and the Senate and the president, right? There was, and then there was a censure vote on Delegate Plaskett from the Virgin Islands for the questioning she did in 2019, where she was taking real-time questions from Jeffrey Epstein while he was, I guess, locked up or something like that. But he was a convicted pedophile. And so it was like a set-up type environment, stuff coming from Cohen to her to Epstein. And but they did a censure vote on her, and it failed, 209 to 214. Congressman, 3 Republicans voted no, and 3 Republicans voted present, which means present means no. All right, you can look at it like that too. It's just unrecorded. So the 3 congressmen that voted no was Congressman Gooden from Texas, Congressman Bacon from Nebraska, and Congressman Joyce from Ohio. And the 3 Republicans that voted present was Garbino from New York, Mauser from Pennsylvania, and Obernolte from California. Those are the ones that voted to not censor Miss Plaskett. So, according to Fox News, let's see. It says Jamie Raskin was ridiculed as dishonest and sick after arguing from the House floor that his former law school student and colleague was only taking a phone call from her constituent when she was texting disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein during a 2019 House hearing. And Republicans on Tuesday, led by Ralph Norman, South Carolina, introduced a resolution to censure Plaskett for inappropriate coordination with the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, in which says reflects discreditably on the House of Representatives. So she was caught, and most people saw the videos that were on the TV about what question asked, what does this mean. She thought RONA was an acronym instead of the name of the president's secretary. Let's see, let me read a couple more of these. Just incredibly dishonest, which is right. I just wish this stuff would be over with. Yeah, we'll just be done with this part. Okay, so a couple other things that came out already was there's the chair, the CEO, Goldman Sachs. She's answering questions why she had a friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. That came out. And then Larry Summers, he used to be the Treasury Secretary for President Obama, I believe it was. And he is now the president of Harvard University. And he's on the board of directors for OpenAI also. He is, as of this morning, he resigned his board position at OpenAI, and then he is under full investigation from Harvard University for what has been, some of the stuff that's already been released with his name all over it. It's unbelievable. He said he's ashamed of his actions. Yeah, sure. And then he's under investigation at Harvard. He said, last night he said he was taking a step back from public life, but then this morning Harvard said that they were opening an investigation on him itself. And then the third person I want to talk about real quick is Hakeem Jeffries. He's the minority leader in the House of Representatives. This man, back in 2013, he was called the Brooklyn Obama, right? But there was an email that went out from him, campaign fundraising, was at the, they were asking for like $13,000 or something like that to help fund Hakeem Jeffries' congressional campaign. They never returned it. The DNC has never returned any of their stuff. They want so badly for all this stuff to be exposed that all they had to do is actually give the money back. But I guess they're too money hungry on their stuff here. But there was an email. I don't have a copy of it. I don't have no slides to show today. I'm just going to be reading some stuff, and we're going to flow through this. If you have any questions for me, please type them in the live chat, and I'll do my best to ask. All right. And then so that failed, and then right after that there was let me get that ready. There was a resolution for disapproval that was immediately presented after that for another Democrat. His name is Chuy Garcia. Now, I talked about Mr. Chuy last week. Yeah, it was last week. So what this cat, he went and he had filed for re-election. And on the last day of filing, he dropped his bid for re-election, and his chief of staff, right after he dropped his bid, filed for election in his stead. It did not give anyone else in the Democrat Party that lived in his district a chance to file, and she won the primary by default because there was no one else filing. So another Democrat named Marie Gusenkamp Perez presented a resolution of disapproval, right? Hakeem Jeffries preached that nobody should vote for this. I mean, he was all in to saving the hide of Mr. Garcia, but his camp failed him on this time. So what he did was go back. There we go. I'm keeping track of different things. So the vote went forward, and he got a resolution of disapproval approved through the House of Representatives, 236 to 183. 4 Democrats voted present, and 23 Democrats crossed over party lines and voted for the resolution. So he's already retiring, so this is like a slap on the wrist, but it's on his record now, right? And then, as you can, the show notes I have down there, it says 2 censure resolutions in the House. So we had the one that failed for Miss Plaskett. We had the resolution of the resolution disapproval, which passed, and then by Friday, and this is one I would definitely vote for, Nancy Mace is planning to force a vote on censoring a fellow House Republican on Wednesday night. So I thought they said it was Friday. 2 sources on Fox News Digital that Mace will introduce a censure resolution against Representative Corey Mills after accusing him of stolen valor on X Tuesday night. She must have heard my podcast about a month and a half ago because I lit into Corey Mills. Mace is planning to introduce the censure as a privileged resolution. Fox News Digital is told, meaning the House GOP leaders will have 2 legislative days by the end of the day on Friday to hold a chamber-wide vote on the measure. Her resolution is likely to come up during the House-only vote series of the day on Wednesday, which is scheduled for the 8 p.m. hour. House Democrats had threatened to pursue retaliatory measure against Mills Tuesday evening in response to the Republicans trying to censure Stacey Plaskett of the Virgin Islands. Plaskett's censure failed after 3 House Republicans voted no, 3 more voted present. I already told you all that. Along with every Democrat rejected that measure. Let's see. Mace had accused Corey Mills of participating in a backroom deal at the time to avoid censure. I have the general who recommended him for the Bronze Star on record saying he never wrote it, never read it, and never personally signed it. Mills' office told Fox News Digital there was never a deal, however, and had expected his censure to move forward on Tuesday. Okay, so the main motivation behind Mace's censure resolution is not clear, but Mace sent a letter to Speaker Johnson on Wednesday accusing Mills of credible accusation he misrepresented his military service and credible accusations of having committed crimes against women. Mills has previously denied wrongdoing in reports on both sets of allegations. Dude, that man's in trouble. I take stolen valor serious. My wife was out here, she would tell you. I've got 3 combat tours. I do have a Bronze Star for service, not for valor, right? 2 distinctions right there, right? Everything that I have done in the Army that I've told people is true. I've seen people die. I've been attacked. I've been on countless missions. I've been on all kinds of hours. I've done all kinds of hazardous things that my wife doesn't even ever want me to talk about. I take personal especially because I've got friends that died in combat. Anyone that ever floats a war story that's not true and commits stolen valor is dead to me. Okay, that would include Tim Walz, him playing Sergeant Major and said he went to Afghanistan. Well, he said I was in Operation Enduring Freedom, like this hat I'm wearing, right? But he was in support of OEF because he was in Italy the whole cotton picking time he was out there. He went to Italy in support of operations and went back to Minnesota or Nebraska or wherever, right? You know, I hate it when people misrepresent their military service because of stuff I've seen and done. You can ask any person I know in the Army what I've done, and they'll testify exactly what I've done. I don't play that game. I hate it when people lie. That's just like being a coward. And that's he told people he had a Bronze Star. This general whose signatures is like, how did it happen? Did they pencil whip something? Really? What about all the veteran service stuff he was promoting? And I believe he was just a medic in the Army, right? How fair is that? How fair is it to all these veterans that can't do nothing, that have PTSD problems because of the intense combat they saw while they were downrange? I call it BS. I'm glad Nancy Mace is filing this, and I hope it passes with overwhelming support to him being censured, right? I don't know if he's planning to stay to Congress, but he needs to go find another ball field to play on, right? It really irks me. And then that follows on into my next one I wanted to talk about. So there's this political commercial that was written by Elise Slotkin, right? She's a senator up in Michigan. She's a former CIA officer. She made a video, well, her campaign made a video called Don't Give Up the Ship. And it features Slotkin in there, former Navy captain and astronaut Mark Kelly, Representative DeLuzio, Representative Goodlander, Representative Houlihan, and Representative Crow, all Congress people, right? And so they made this video telling people that's in the military, especially high-ranking officers, don't obey the orders of the president. And they made it sound like what he's telling them are illegal orders. Well, we all know about illegal orders, but there is nothing that the president's done that's been illegal, and they're telling them to disobey the orders of SecDef or SecWar and the president, right? Article 92 in the Manual of Court Martials says that is disobeying an officer in the chain of command. which is punishable by a lot, right? And it can turn into a courts martial also. So I don't understand. And all these people, besides Miss Slotkin, because she was CIA, is not even close to being in the military, but the rest of these people are all military veterans making this commercial. And I guess they forgot about the oath that they took, obeying the orders of the president, the officers appointed over them against all enemies, foreign and domestic. You know, you can play a little game and disobey your commander in chief, and you're going to pay a very steep price. And don't want to cross this PTEC stuff either. So, but that was been all over TV yesterday and the day prior to that, I believe. I saw something about it again this morning. So, where is that thing? I got to keep track of what I'm talking about. I got that done. And I got that done, and I got that done. Okay, next is Mamdani. Mamdani said after he becomes after he becomes mayor, he said he will honor any ICC warrant that comes across, and Benjamin Netanyahu visits New York. He will have him arrested and taken into custody. But the problem with that is, the New York Police Department commissioner said she will accept his offer to stay employed as a New York NYPD commissioner. But okay, back to the other one. So if I believe it right, Secret Service is responsible for the security of all foreign dignitaries inside the United States, right? And so I would like to see how the NYPD will take him into custody if he flies into New York. I don't see that happening. They don't have no federal law enforcement jurisdiction anyway. And then the U.S. doesn't even recognize the International Criminal Court. So if we don't recognize it, their warrants aren't even applicable inside the United States. All right, hold on, let me get a drink of water. While I'm getting this drink of tea, don't forget, if you haven't clicked that thumbs up button or the follow button or even the repost, this is your time to do it, okay? So like and then follow also, okay? I need a cough drop, but I don't have one. I forgot to put a couple of them over here. Okay, next is this one right here. 3-judge panel blocks Texas redistricting map. The gist of it right now is 3-judge panel in West Texas. The vote was 2-1, telling Texas that their redistricting map is unconstitutional because it racially gerrymanders the map, in which it doesn't, because the Supreme Court told them they can't have racial majority-minority districts because it is unconstitutional, because it violates the 14th Amendment. I guess they didn't even understand this. 2 of them voted against the other one. So the 2 that voted, one was a Trump judge. His name is Jeffrey Brown. The next judge is an Obama judge. His name is David Guerrera. And the one that sided with Texas is a Reagan appointee named Jerry Smith. And you're not going to believe this, but when I was talking to my daughter last night, she said, he must be super old because I didn't know any of those guys still existed. It's coming from a 26-year-old grad student. Call a spade a spade. The guy's probably old, but he ruled the correct way. All right. So Ken Paxton said that they're appealing that to the Supreme Court on an expedited manner because we are in a filing season in Texas, right? So we got to the December 8th for the end of filing period. I saw an article in our actual newspaper, our liberal newspaper called the Killeen Daily Herald. It was stating that Democrats that said that they were retiring all of a sudden now want to file for office again because the districts were called unconstitutional. Well, they need to watch what they're doing because they might, even though they'd be out of their district residence-wise, because there's nothing in the Constitution says you actually have to live in your district to file for Congress. The problem with that is when this gets overruled by the Supreme Court and the new maps are back in effect, they're going to be running in Republican, not racial, but political majority districts, and they're going to get their slate wiped clean. All right, so let's go over this real quick. It's like barely a page. A panel of 3 federal judges on Tuesday blocked Texas from using a new congressional map drawn by Republicans in hopes of securing the party additional seats in the 2026 midterms, ruling 2-1 that the map in question constitutes illegal race-based gerrymander. The public perception of this case is all about politics. And the public perception, so why are they ruling on the public opinion instead of what the law states, right? To be sure, politics played a role in drawing the 2020-25 map, the judges said, but it was much more than just politics. Substantial evidence shows that Texas racially gerrymandered the 2025 map. And then Judge Smith, the Reagan appointee, dissented without explanation. The ruling is a significant blow to the Trump administration. No, it isn't, because it's going to be appealed to the Supreme Court. And then as of that push, legislators in Texas, Missouri, North Carolina, Ohio have each redrawn their congressional maps. Other states, including Florida and Kansas, are currently weighing similar efforts. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, who's running for the Senate, vowed on Tuesday to appeal the ruling to the Supreme Court for review. He said Texas would be also seeking an emergency stay from the High Court that would temporarily stay the lower court's ruling. And for years, Democrats have engaged in partisan redistricting intended to eliminate Republican representation. I told you all that yesterday. When Republicans respond in kind, Democrats rely on a false accusation racism to secure a partisan advantage. Governor Greg Abbott sharply criticized the court's ruling Tuesday, saying in a statement that Texas legislators redrew our congressional maps to better reflect Texas' conservative voting preferences and for no other reason. Any claim that these maps are discriminatory is absurd and unsupported by the testimony offered during the 10 days of hearings, he added. Governor's absolutely correct, right? They drew these maps in a political way of not absolutely ensuring that Republicans would get elected, but increase the possibility that they would win an election. You know, you can draw a line wherever you want. It does not mean that you're going to win, and it doesn't mean you're going to lose. I mean, sometimes there's a high probability that it might happen, but it's the person. You got to get out there and get the votes, all right? Get enough votes, right? We'll see. Hopefully, I'm looking over here. Nope, they're talking about what happened up in Butler, Pennsylvania. Let's see. Another judge, this is not a federal judge, but a state judge in Tennessee, in Memphis, right, says that Governor Lee can't use the Army National Guard to help Memphis enforce law short of invasion or rebellion. He This judge, it was a female, she said this is a positive step for, oh no, this is the mayor of Memphis, right? This is a positive step toward ensuring the rule of law applies to everyone, including everyday Tennesseans and even the governor. So this judge and this mayor is telling the governor that he has no legal right to use the Army National Guard from Tennessee to help enforce the law inside of his state. He does have that authority, but you just get more and more of these activist judges that want to go out there and play governor or play president. And that's exactly what they're attempting to do. So I hope Governor Lee, well, I wrote on her, he said he's going to appeal it. So the Army National Guard guys are, I think, being sent home, but the Tennessee ones are staying, right? But he said he's appealing it. He has about a year and a half left, no, about a year left in office. Marsha Blackburn, she's senator from Tennessee. She's going to run to succeed him because he's term limited. Hopefully things change for her when she gets back, when she gets sworn in, because she should win. FEMA headquarters is they may be moving from D.C. to Texas. And they said it's a high probability that would move FEMA headquarters into the Gulf region. So the command and control of FEMA is closer to the Gulf Coast because the vast majority of natural disasters we receive in our country are tropical weather and then fires, right? So they want to put them closer to the action to reduce the react time to get stuff done and to defeat the bureaucracy that takes place in the D.C. area. That should be a good move. Several educational programs are being moved from the Department of Education to other cabinets, including different loan proposals and foreign language and students, international students, stuff like that. Miss McMahon was on TV this morning and said this is the way they're drawing down the level of stuff that's coming out of the Department of Education until they can actually get a vote to dismantle and close down it, but they're moving the resources out from the Department of Education to other cabinets, okay? Next. We will, let's see, we'll do this one first. Jim Jordan is referred the deputy for Jack Smith for prosecution. What he did was, so it says House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan called on the Department of Justice Wednesday to prosecute one of Special Counsel Jack Smith's lead attorneys, accusing him of obstructing a congressional investigation. Jordan said in a 19-page referral that Thomas Wyndham, a veteran federal prosecutor who was fired in the second Trump administration, declined to answer dozens of questions from committee staff after meeting with him twice behind closed doors this year. Wyndham cited his Fifth Amendment right and federal rules surrounding grand jury secrecy. That's odd, because with Jim Comey, they're talking about making the prosecution give secret grand jury testimony to the defense. Wyndham called, let's see, Jordan said he was dissatisfied with those reasons, and at least one other similarly situated prosecutor, JP Cooney, had been more than candid with his committee, signaling Wyndham was withholding more than he needed to. Wyndham improper refusal to answer nearly all questions during a deposition obstructed the committee's fact-finding. As a senior assistant to Special Counsel Jack Smith, Wyndham possesses unique first-hand information about the knowledge of the office. Yet, despite being given express authorization by DOJ on 2 separate occasions, Wyndham declined to answer questions during his deposition about necessary topics and relevant to the committee's inquiry. The committee inquired about a range of topics related to Wyndham's work investigating Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election and supporting Smith as a senior former special assistant counsel. Obstruction, he was working with 2 other committees, free will. And then when the Judiciary Committee wanted to interview him, he clammed up and took his Fifth Amendment. If he was going to take his Fifth Amendment, I know you can execute it any time, but he should have done that at the first committee meeting that he was at instead of waiting to do it. So, like they said, what is he hiding, right? So, next part I wanted to talk about is at Beloit College in Wisconsin. They have a Turning Point chapter, right? Well, I need to read some of this. So it starts off with Derek Van Orden. He's a former Navy SEAL, and he's recently been elected as a congressman in the state from the state of Wisconsin. Matter of fact, this guy drove a motorcycle from Wisconsin all the way to D.C. last week through the snow and rain. So you can't tell me he's not dedicated. But Republican member of Congress, which is Derek Van Orden, was seeking support to support one of his constituents who accused her college of blocking attempts to start a new TPUSA chapter on campus, was reportedly blown off by college administration after he attempted to have a conversation with the school to better understand what was going on. Van Orden sought to collect the facts regarding allegations from a Beloit College student that her college was preventing her from establishing a new TPUSA chapter on campus. TPUSA was a conservative campus activation nonprofit founded by assassinated activist Charlie Kirk. Additionally, the student, Jocelyn Jordan, accused her school of failing to adequately respond to a harassment campaign she and other classmates have been facing as a result of their efforts to start a new TPUSA campus club on campus. The alleged harassment initially included disturbing imagery, which I'm going to show y'all, posted on the group's new Instagram page, referring to Jordan and her co-founders as Nazis, Ku Klux Klan members, white supremacists, and even devolved in the threats. Our office reached out to Beloit College in good faith to discuss this matter and were blown off. Van Orden said in a statement, "This was unacceptable. Every student, regardless of political belief, deserves the right to organize, speak freely, and participate fully on campus life without the fear of retribution." He said he left a voicemail in the area where he was supposed to call, and the people that worked there said they discovered it 2 days later and decided to give him a call. I don't believe that. I do not believe that. The first thing and the last thing you look at when when you come into work or going home is if you have any voicemail, whether it be one of those clunky things you can throw 20 yards away, or it's on a cell phone. And most people operate with the company's cell phone. Beloit, I believe, is a private college, so I bet they can afford it all, right? So this girl was trying to start a TPUSA chapter, and she was being prevented in doing so. And so Derek Van Orden, trying to get to the bottom of it, it didn't work. And I'm going to go. Okay, so I don't know if you can see this on the paper. It's on Fox News. Can y'all read that? Okay, so it says, "Meet the campus Nazis, neo-Nazi USA at Beloit College." Here, let me see if I can get that in there a little bit more. There we go. Look at that. For one, if I was TPUSA, I'd be pursuing, if they could figure out who did it, a trademark challenge on that one. That's completely inappropriate. And then it gets worse. They have a picture of Miss Jordan in her softball stuff. They call her the Reich leader, the leader of the Third Reich, and it has her information on it, right? And then I think there's a couple more. Oh yeah. There's that one. And there's that one. How is that even tolerable at a college? You're supposed to, we have our Constitution, and I don't know if that's a public university or private university. It shouldn't matter, right? She's been discriminated against, and I call that hate speech, flat out. And defamation. She's got several lawsuits that she could actually file on this one. She probably doesn't need to go to college a day in her life. She used to get the settlement, pay out for college note, and call it a day. Play softball the rest of her life because she's a softball player. Unbelievable. So, and then, man, we're almost done. Wow. Okay, let me get one more drink of water. We're at the Texas Minute. Okay, so Governor Abbott designated 2 Muslim groups. This is from the Texas Scorecard. The Council of American Islamic Relations and the Muslim Brotherhood as foreign terrorist organizations and transnational criminal organizations here in Texas. And the proclamation immediately prohibits groups from purchasing or acquiring land in Texas and authorizes the state to take legal action to shut down their operations. And it comes from a new state law that was just passed in the legislature, right? CARE didn't like it. They called Abbott an Israel first politician who has spent months stroking anti-Muslim hysteria. Well, I guess he poked the bear in the belly because he's right, and especially with the Epic City stuff that they were actually trying to hide from the Texas, and they're renaming it the Meadows, so we still can see through their little games and stuff. Texas is trying to still get their $11 billion back from the federal government, which was appropriated in the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. so we can pay off all our debt that we paid for to build the border walls and stuff. That in itself, that when the next legislature meets in 2027, if this money comes back to us, that means we already have $11 billion in surplus that we'll be able to spend. And then, did you know that there's 38 congressional districts in Texas? We got almost 10% of the total amount of in the House of Representatives, which is 435. Ken Paxton, Attorney General, running for the Senate, he filed lawsuit on 2 more school districts for refusing to post the 10 Commandment displays. He filed on Round Rock ISD and Leander ISD, and they're just north of Austin and south of Killeen and Coppers Cove, in the area in the middle down there. It's a pretty big liberal establishment down there still. Everything keeps resonating north from Austin. So he filed a lawsuit on that one. And on November 19th, 1854, Sam Houston was baptized and joined the Independent Baptist Church at the urging of his wife, Margaret. And when later asked about having his sins washed away, Houston reportedly joked, "Lord, help the fish down below." And then he's quoted as, "A leader is someone who helps improve the lives of other people or improve the system they live under." That was from Sam Houston, and it sounds a lot like Donald Trump also. All right? So that is the JP8 report for today on November 19th. Thank you all for tuning in. Sorry about the little hiccup we had going on there. I think I got everything done right. Don't forget to follow the podcast if you're not already a follower, whether you're watching live or video on demand, and then give us a thumbs up, like, and then share, please. And as I go over to my title page, there we go. So you can find me on X at James Pierce Jr., and it's live on there now. It's on live on Facebook at James A. Pierce Jr. It's recorded on YouTube because we don't have enough subscribers, but that's the actual address. You got to look up the JP8 report. Don't forget to put the 67 on there. And I'm on Truth at James A. Pierce, and you can send me an email at jp8report@gmail.com. Let's see. So I'm looking at a new breaking news from New York Post. New York City's Madoff of landlords defaults on $170 million of loans, faces foreclosure on 35 Manhattan properties. Wow. That's a lot of money. All right. So, nothing on the chat. Don't forget, like and follow, like and follow, like and follow. But I appreciate it. I'll see y'all Thursday at noon here on Rumble. Please check me out again next week. Okay. So, I'm still considering maybe just doing a podcast on Monday, or maybe Monday and Tuesday. I'm not fully. I might do a regular podcast on Monday to cover the news over the weekend, and plus my JP8, the America 250 moment for Sunday and Monday. And then on Tuesday, do one that covers the America 250, covering Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. All right. I think that might be the route to go. Does anyone have a suggestion on that? If not, let me think about it a little bit more. Thank y'all for it. Right now we got 7 people watching, which is great. There's been a lot of news going on today too. All right, so hey, so I need to go out. I'm hungry. I want to eat some lunch. So this is James Pierce with the JP8. I'm not going to eat lunch in front of y'all. Okay, give me a break. But this is James Pierce with the JP8 report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.